Can
Can you
yeah.
tip it a
Don't
little more,
sit-
cause it's reflecting,
Yeah,
tip it
right,
up.
we all
There.
can see it, you can all see it.
Careful it
The
doesn't
before-
fall
yeah,
upside
the
down.
before and after.
Yeah, that would be
Right.
hilarious.
Oh, God.
There
You didn't even
Excellent.
contemplate a
Thank you.
ponytail.
Perfect, thank you very much.
So, not a real set agenda for this part, we're just gonna kind of share stories and whatnot. We didn't get a chance to work together a lot, but certainly one of the things I appreciated about joining ATI is that I called you often and you're always very generous with your time and advice and very much appreciated. So I don't have a lot of stories like these guys do, but I do have a lot of admiration. And I appreciate you very much. And you know, clearly you had a stellar career and you created an enormous amount of value that we all benefit from in a lot of ways. So thank you, John, for everything you did.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a rare thing to, well, I'd worked for Pat forever, right? Or with Pat forever. And, but when you came in with a great attitude, trying to learn, and it was just a pleasure to work with you. Had a great time doing it. And you're thinking about how to grow the company, how to drive the value for the company. Those were all great. Really enjoyed those discussions.
Well, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
cherished them. So I don't know if anybody else would like to share, but you're welcome to.
I'll
Or
go.
roast, you can call it anything you
All
want.
right, Master.
So,
Thanks, John.
I'll comment on three things about John. His character, his leadership, and his value as a team and a colleague. The first time I met John, I was working on the Alps deal, and we were in Richburg. We were negotiating this deal with predecessor of Outokumpu,
Avesta Polar.
Vesta Polarit, for us to, they were gonna co-invest in our mill with us for an upgrade. And 20-year agreement. John and Pat DeCourcy really kind of took the laboring war on our side, but there were a lot of, Jack Schilling was involved, Tom Williams was involved, it was kind of crazy. On the other side, we had this guy, Lou Kern, who was a really sharp guy, pain in the ass, but a sharp guy.
New Jersey.
And a lawyer named Guy Snyder from Chicago who was really good. So we really had our work cut out for us, but you know, John was not one of the boys from SM. He stood out and he made good decisions and he stood up for those decisions. And between he and Pat, we put together a great agreement. And it's worked for 20 years. And that's the way John's always been. You know, I didn't think I'd talk to you again probably until 2008 maybe when I joined the company again and saw you at 10-0 conference. So, and then I knew John as a leader. Right around that time, he probably took over SANC, right? And then you became the leader of HPMC. And you know, John, his leadership of the businesses, when you would go and visit the businesses and go and visit the shop floor, you had to drag John along because he would talk to people and interact with people and tell stories with people. You could tell he knew them and knew them so well. And you know, his leadership on safety, on technology, and also really I think the beginning of the transformation of ATI really started with John's kind of independent thinking about the company. So I give him that credit. So that's character and leadership. And then I think as a colleague, you know, I remember the story when John was going to present to the board. And I think it was the first time he had to present to the board. And this was a time when only Rich, Dale, and I were in the boardroom. And so John was supposed to present at like 11:15. And he was going to present to get this project approved. And I came out of the boardroom at about 11:20. It wasn't time for me. We weren't ready for him yet. And he said, you know, Elliot, it's 11:20. What's going on? I said, well, we're not ready for you yet. I didn't want to tell him it was going to probably be after lunch. You know? He's very punctual. And he said, what what kind of show are you running here? All I ask is to be told when I'm gonna give the presentation. I was like, oh shit, he's nervous.